So I got all this aluminum laying around from one of those cheap Walmart aluminum gazebo type deals. I'm thinking that stuff might be good for the legs, the body, and the arms. It's probably maybe 9 feet tall by itself. Time I cut them and bend them and make the legs and the body, it should be close to 10 feet, maybe 12 feet. All right, I got the legs, little waist section. It's about 8.5 foot tall, the legs. So I got these old foam pieces, or styrofoam pieces, from a Samsung washing machine that I bought, that I saved for some possible tombstones. But I think these will make a good torso and some arms. A plant guy. Right, so I got a piece of aluminum frame through the middle, some styrofoam on the outside. I had this big skull head. Maybe I'll do that. Put like a cloak around it or something. So that's gonna be the torso. Here's the legs. For the arms, I'm gonna use this. It is a stand from a volleyball setup. I'm gonna bend it there for the elbows on both sides. And start putting it together and wrapping it with foam noodles and plastic wrap. Then I'll paint it probably with some liquid latex and then paint it. All right, so pool noodles from the Dollar Tree. They're $1.25 now. Cutting them up into some kind of medium strips, some little strips, and I'm hot gluing them all up the legs. I'll do it all on the arms, the chest, and I believe I'm gonna change this chest here. I'm gonna get rid of this styrofoam. I'm gonna get some chicken wire and kind of sculpt it into a chest, and then I'm gonna use spray foam all over for kind of like the guts of the chest. But anyway, pool noodles glued all over. Okay, then I wrapped it with some of this cheap plastic wrap from the Dollar Tree. Get a bunch of these. And then I took my torch to it, torched it all up. It's looking pretty good so far. Then I hit it with a can of bed liner. It gives it a really cool texture. I know you can't really see it on the camera, but it gives it a good texture. Some black bed liner. Once I get this whole thing sprayed with the black bed liner, then I'll go back through with some greens, and then I'll come back and I'll dry brush brown over everything. And it should look pretty good once I get done with that. So where the chest is gonna be, I'm gonna add some lights, and in the head there will be some lights. And fortunately, this head already makes noises. So I'm gonna go inside of there, take the guts out, and right there is a little black sensor. I'm gonna move that down to probably the waist, so that way when people walk by, it'll set everything off. And it lights up all crazy and makes all kinds of crazy noises. And I'm gonna extend the power button all the way down to the legs where I can reach everything. All right, so I got most of this other leg done, other than tops, but I'm gonna put the torso on before I do the top of the legs. That way I can just do it all in one piece and then just slice it with a knife across there. That way when I put it together, it'll look all as one piece, because I want this to come apart as the legs, the torso with the head, and then the arms, which I might change. I might turn this into just foam pieces instead of this. It's a little bit heavy. But at any rate, over here you can see where I've wrapped it with the plastic wrap and melted it, just to kind of give it a weird kind of skin melting look. Over here I've wrapped it, but I haven't melted it yet. When you do this, if you do this, you don't want to keep your torch on it too long. You're just going right over it, and it'll turn it into just like that. So I think it's gonna look pretty good. What I'm gonna do, once I have all the plastic wrapped on there in the amount that I would like, then I'm gonna get some of the Great Stuff foam, and I'm gonna just kind of squirt it all over, and then take some rubber gloves and just kind of rub it all over, so it'll give it that kind of like a burnt corpse kind of skin look, and it's also going to act as a glue kind of, so it'll help keep everything together even better. And then I will go through with the green highlights and then the brown dry brush. But I think that this look is gonna look pretty good when it's all together. All right, I've got the torso and the head attached to the legs. I've got to get some more of the ground cloth, the root stop cloth, and make the bottom part of the robe. And then probably, I'm thinking about 7 or 8 more creepy cloths. Do the hands, spray paint black, do the wiring, put the light in the chest, and it should be all done. Got the head all bolted on, glued up. I'm gonna go back over it with creepy cloth. I'm gonna go through this and start stapling all this around this chicken wire so I can tighten up the torso. Then I'll start draping creepy cloth on it. I'm gonna staple on the bottom of these pool noodles too. And I don't care about the green showing, because I'm gonna blast this with some black spray paint, so it'll go through and get the pool noodles. And the reason why I'm gonna do that is it's gonna stiffen this stuff up. It's gonna make this cloth material really stiff and better for the wind. That's where we're at right now. I know the lighting's not that great in here. As soon as October comes and I can get all my Halloween stuff out of here, I'm gonna go through this garage and kind of redo it, make a nice little studio work area, maybe do some sheetrock and possibly a window AC unit in this back garage, because it is hot. I'm in Florida and it's pushing 90 degrees. I got a ceiling fan and a box fan, but you can see I'm sweating, just barely moving around. So, I got the chicken wire from Home Depot, 2 feet by 25 feet. I want to say, I can't even say how much it was up there. So, anyway, we'll get it open. Here's the torso. The head comes down to here. So I need here to here. Kind of make some shoulders and see how it works out. can't decide if I want to make this kind of like a mummy guy. Get some cheesecloth or something like that, or like a reaper kind of guy, or just bare, which I'm kind of leaning away to a bare, of it just being bare, because I want it to look good. So I have this ground cloth for stopping weeds, which I think I might do some kind of reaper cloak with this, because I have to use some chicken wire around the back of the skull head to frame it out, because the back is flat. So I've got to kind of build the skull out, and I'm going to have to glue or staple some kind of this material around it so you don't just see chicken wire. And then I've got a ton of creepy cloth that I can drape all over it. So I'm probably leaning towards that route. I got to go through this and take all the electronics out and run the wires down to the waist area so I can reach everything. And like I said, I'm going to move the sensor down to the waist, so when people walk by, the sensor will set the head off. The chest here, I went to Lowe's and I found this really cool light bulb. It is a flickering light bulb. It's super bright LED. It's got like 4 LEDs in it. So that's what's going to go inside the chest. And that'll just plug in, and I'll have a little switch to turn it on and off down at the waist area. So the chest will just constantly be going. And I may just have the head constantly going too, and just have the sound kick on when somebody walks by. So that's some ideas for that. I'm sure this chicken wire is going to be real fun to work with. Careful with this wire when you're working with it. You don't want to poke you in the eye. Save that. And we're free. Be prepared if you're going to use this chicken wire for any kind of ghosts or anything. You're going to be getting stabbed and poked as you cut. Go with a little extra so I can have like a bulge kind of. I got a couple pliers here, so after I cut it, I'm going to bend everything in and try to make it where it's going to poke me the least amount. Sure there's a much quicker way, but this is really the first time I'm working with chicken wire to do anything like this. Be as careful as you can so you don't stab the crap out of yourself. Now that I've bent all that stuff, I'll probably poke myself really good with it. I don't know the best way to keep this from rolling back up, but I'm just going to be a little aggressive with it, I guess. I'm working on an old, crappy workbench, so I'm not worried about scratching anything up. If you're inside your house or something, don't do it on your nice table. It's going to scratch everything all up. Alright, this might be just enough width as it is. Actually, it is. Maybe I'll do this piece and another piece the same length, put it on the back, and then I'll attach it on the sides here and kind of bend it around to give it some girth. That'll probably be the best way to go about it. I still got to figure out what I'm going to do for the arms. I have some PEX tubing that fits perfectly into the Dollar Tree pool noodles. Thinking I might go this route because it's super lightweight. And you can kind of bend it. I could take a heat gun to it. I've already bent it a little, but I could take the heat gun. You can take your heat gun to it and bend it up. And then on the tubing, this square tubing, I have some electrical cable clamps that I can screw right into here and they'll fit right over it and hold it nice and tight. If that don't work, you can get some hex clamps from the store. But I believe this is probably going to be the best lightweight route. I'm just worried about it blowing around. So I might end up having to use the aluminum, which I have plenty of. So I'll cut another piece of this chicken wire. Lollipops. Stabbing my lollipops. Pretty cool. Lollipops I got here for Christmas. Pool noodles from the Dollar Tree. White duct tape from the Dollar Tree. Clear cellophane from the Dollar Tree. A bow from the Dollar Tree. And a broomstick handle from the Dollar Tree. You just stick them right down in the ground for Christmas time. All down the walkway. They look great. I got plenty of Christmas time DIYs that we can get into once we get past Halloween. And then once Christmas is over, go back to more scary stuff. Because it is fun to do. It ain't gotta be perfect. Channel called Wicked Makers on YouTube. They have Instagram, Facebook, webpage. I want to say Pinterest, some other things. It's a couple. They do some really, really cool stuff for Halloween. So you can check them out. They have a ghost that they've made out of chicken wire. They had a mannequin. They wrapped a mannequin with it, which seemed to make it much easier, which I would love to do, but in my case, it's way bigger than any mannequin I could get. So I'm just gonna have to wing it. take these two pieces and connect them at each end. Then I will connect them along the sides, and I'll try to puff it out, give it a chest area, rib cage kind of look. Now that I'm looking, I should have left these up so I could just twist them together. Which is what I'm doing. Just where you cut it, take the two tabs sticking up, take this tab and the tab on the other side, and just grab some pliers and twist them together, and then fold them back over. So that's what I'm going to do all the way across here on this side and the other side. Suppose if you were really worried about this chicken wire poking you, once you went through and did all this, it would be overkill in my mind, but you could get some plasti dip, which is the dip. It's in a tube. They sell it at hardware stores, which you can dip your tools in, and it makes these rubber handles on your tools. You could dip each end of the pokey areas of this chicken wire in there, and it would save you from getting stabbed, but it would be time consuming. And once this thing's together, it's going to be so far in the air I ain't going to be able to reach it anyway. I'll get an official total height once I'm done building the thing, but I believe it is going to be just over 12 foot tall. I think Halloween kids will be excited about that. We don't get a lot of trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood. We get more and more each year. But I think the more and more you decorate, the more it'll draw people. And it really seems to get my neighbors and everyone else down through the street excited about decorating, and through all the holiday seasons, it's starting to look better and better as far as decorations go. It's just
nice. Put you in the mood for Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas. Just brings joy to everybody. So why not? Now I know this stuff I make for Halloween is like scary, spooky looking, but it's not about anything crazy except just having fun and making Halloween exciting. Watching a video with Dick Clark in it. He's really huge into decorating for Halloween, and he's got the money for the good stuff, so he makes his house or the front of his place where he lives awesome. He has this company, Distortions Unlimited or something like that. They make huge, scary Halloween stuff. All pneumatic actuated. Very, very cool stuff. And he was friends with Walt Disney, Dick Clark we're talking about. And he said Walt Disney said kids love to be scared. That's why he always had a witch or like Maleficent or something like that in his stories, because kids like a good scare too. And that's coming from the man himself, Mr. Walt Disney. Before all of this new kind of era stuff. Walt Disney's Disney was different. It was all about the kids and the family, nothing else. Didn't matter what you were, what your message was, or anything like that. It was just about kids and family and having a good time, no matter what. This part is a pain in the butt, but it is necessary for me, I do believe. I'm doing it. If I was really thinking and had a plan before I started this, I would have just cut a really long piece that equal what both of these do, and only had to do this on one side. But I'm not thinking ahead. Playing this as it goes. So that's that side. I will take it this way. Pieces connected together the length I need for the chest and the back. I'm going to connect it at the sides. If you're doing anything like this and you're smarter than me, just cut one long piece so you don't have to do that on both ends. I'm going to cut a hole in the top here. I'm going to slide it over my frame to where the top of the shoulders will be and put a screw in there to hold it. And then I will start bending up the sides and the bottom. So, lay this out here. Fortunately, the middle of this chicken wire has a wire all the way through it, so I don't need to measure. It's already giving me a good go ahead on what the middle is. Take this frame, sit it right on there. Figure out where I need to cut so it can slide over. So, got a hole cut in it right there. That'll slide over my frame, which I can put a bolt into, and really help me out on trying to work with this stuff. I got a vice clamp here, or a vice, which is really helping out with this. So I'll put a bolt in up here, keep this up out of my way, and it'll make it a lot easier. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Wire that I cut off, it was wrapped all around the chicken wire holding it together. It's going to come in handy here, because this is what I'm going to use to wrap all the sides together. have some girth to them. This is going to work out just perfectly. I'm loving it. There's a haunted house area, haunted trail area in New Hampshire, outside of Salem. It's in Lee, New Hampshire. I forget the name of it. I keep wanting to say Halloween Unlimited or Ultimate Halloween or something like that, but I know that's not it. But if you go to Grim Life Collective's channel and look up Haunted Trail in Lee, New Hampshire, they did a walkthrough. The place is amazing, and I want to go there so bad. I got a ton of crap on this table. I'm sure this is really, really boring just watching me do weaving through chicken wire. So I'm going to stop the video here, pick back up once I have this done. Got the chicken wire on the head, so that's going to give it the body that it needs for the cloak that I'm gonna, or the hood that I'm gonna droop over this thing. Got this guy standing out here. Got the chicken wire all done for the torso. Slides right over the frame. Hangs down a little bit there. And I believe what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make some pants for this guy out of the weed stop material that lays down on the ground. And then I'm gonna have a cape or like a hoodie on this guy. I gotta figure out the arm. Okay, I got the frame for the torso all sturdy. So now I got that. 3 bolts go into the waist area, and then I have these 2 angled pieces into the piece going up for the torso, and then it goes down into the top of the legs. So it's super sturdy now.
So now I am going to get the chicken wire and start kind of molding or sculpting the torso how I want it. Back on this pumpkin man slash mummy slash, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with it. Legs, that's gonna be the frame for the torso, which I'm gonna wrap with the chicken wire. Got it bolted in here so I can take it apart, but it's a little flimsy from this joint. So I got a couple pieces of aluminum. I'm gonna go on there to here. Bolt those together on both sides and that'll keep it nice and sturdy. Okay, here is the back of the big skull. Got it all figured out as far as length on the cable to go down towards the waist. Just use a couple old charger cords for RC batteries to extend the cables, low voltage. So this is the control board here. It's got the on-off sensor, which I'm gonna flip it over. I have this little black box here. It fits perfectly inside of it and it clips together. So I'm just gonna Dremel out a little spot for the control. And this is the sensor. It's gonna hang around the front of the guy. And I needed something that, this takes 3 AA batteries, but that's all made into it. And I didn't want to cut it off because this is all somewhat watertight, I would say, or weather resistant. So I had this old controller for an RC four-wheeler that didn't work anymore. So I cut the controller part off and ran the wires over to the power. Unfortunately, one of the leads came off for the LEDs, so I've got to solder that back on, and then I'll hit all this with some more hot glue to keep everything together. Once it's in here, I'm just going to hot glue that thing together because it's going to have the control button sticking out. And I will get a little piece of plastic and glue it on here, leaving these wires out. I'm gonna put this box on here, probably on this plate that comes off, so I can keep everything together if I need to, when I need to change batteries. So that's an update on the electrical for this. I did get the old lamp I took apart and put in the chest of the big guy. Right now I have a multicolor remote control light in there. I think I'm going to change it and just go with the flickering light bulb. It's bigger and it's brighter and I think it'll look better. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, I got the legs figured out. Got them wrapped with this weed stop cloth. And I'm gonna go to Dollar Tree and get a bunch more creepy cloth to hang it off of there. And I'm going to spray it with black paint so everything will be nice and crispy and held together. Got one hand on. I gotta spray that. I got the head back on. I got the electronics done up in it. Got the sensor hanging down by the waist. I've got the light in the chest. It's a little hard to tell how it looks in the daylight, but at night it looks pretty good. It shines all through the chest. It kind of matches how the eyes are. There's the motion sensor I brought down to the waist area. got these skulls last year at Walgreens. Before Halloween, they were having a sale to get rid of their Halloween stuff, and I think I only paid like 20 bucks for that giant skull. I got 2 of them. I have another one hiding back there. I'm gonna do a video on this Audrey. I'm gonna go back through and coat it with some liquid latex and give it a really good paint job. Make it look a little more realistic, or whatever you want to call it. I made that last year. Just like a witch's candle table. It's got a bunch of tea lights on it that we turn on. It looks really cool at nighttime. It's all out of pool noodles with wax melted on it. And I have this video coming soon. Gonna make a small Audrey out of one of these Funkins. That's probably a 12-inch foam pumpkin. So, I'm happy I've got this thing figured out. It's gigantic. Maybe before next Halloween, I'll figure out how I can throw some motors on there and make the waist turn or something like that. The hand is awesome. It's come out really good. It's a good size for this guy. Kind of looks like a Vecna hand. I don't have much room here, so it's gonna be real close. But it looks really cool. It's just done with a cheap Dollar Tree hand. I put metal wires in it to extend it. Wrapped it with newspaper and paint tape. Then I went through with liquid latex and toilet paper. Sealed it all up. And then I put rolled toilet paper to make the veins sticking up on there, so it would have that kind of 3D effect. But it's looking really cool. I just got to finish those legs. A bunch more creepy cloth on the top. Get it all painted and it will be ready to go.